Good morning. Another recording for myself. Enjoying this very cold but very sunny morning here in Catonsville. And my haircut looks pretty good. Still kind of looks like I'm balding because I am. And, I'm pretty sure the smoking is doing a lot to recede my hair, I'm pretty sure. But that's just the nature of the beast. Definitely going to continue smoking simply because it's one of the ways that kind of keeps me sort of locked in with my emotions, for better or for worse. But it kind of keeps me consistent, at least on some level. It's expensive as fuck. Definitely too expensive, I think. I really do think I should start, every time I buy something like that, I could actually use that money to invest. And it is a substitute for emotional needs, because I do need a lot of intimacy, so I turn to the consumption of drugs as kind of my coping mechanism, and it's really not a sustainable system. It's not a sustainable model. If I want to get myself out of the emotional and financial rut that I'm in, I really would have to do the exact opposite of what I'm doing now, which is spending my money on bullshit, right? So, that's kind of the big thing on my mind right now, is simply figuring out what I gotta do. I'm out here, there's neighbors walking around, people walking their dogs and stuff. Too many dogs, I think, for an American. That's my opinion, though. Good morning. But yeah, I do feel like people need to build more community out here. There's really not enough. Way too many fucking lonely Americans out here. And it's everybody. Whether you're a fucking feminist, whether you're a fucking guy, everybody's getting fucking lonely. Everybody's getting drugged out. And yeah, people are kind of turning to material substitutes for their more fundamental human needs. And you see it in the streets of every city in America, or pretty much every city in America, just kind of wears you down. Even the people who embrace the streets, I mean, they look really worn down. Even people who are looking for that ground zero, one love, they get worn down really quickly. And that's just kind of my impression. I've gone to the streets, I've tried to find the love out in America, and it's not really to be found. And I think that does say a lot about the society at large, how even at the most fundamental frequency, you still have this kind of isolation and sadness and distrust. There's a lot of distrust in America. Americans do not trust people. Americans do not trust each other. I have trust issues as well with other Americans too. And it doesn't help that everybody has trauma and has baggage, and everybody's going through shit. And we expect the best, the most out of people. We expect the best of people, and yet we often don't even know who our own selves are at our very best. And kind of setting the bar, setting the standard, I think is a big challenge. Because I know that the women, they kind of conform to what the majority do, while the men these days don't have the leadership to really take the initiative and figure it out themselves. That's really my impression right now. And I like this recording because you can see my face, a little half lit, half dark, which I think pretty accurately describes my mood in a way. It's amazing that I see these problems, I identify these problems at a larger scale, but I don't really know how to overcome them at my more local, personalized level. And I do think it does require some level of initiative on my part, and perhaps that leadership needs to start here. Maybe rather than expecting another man to show me, or another man to guide me, which is kind of the more naturally occurring way, given the recent changes in the last century. I would say that now, the ball is in my court, ever more so as I become more aware of the problem in ways that I think other people are not. I don't see other men as really well aware of the issue as myself, and I've tried to reach out to friends. I've tried to reach out to other fellow peers, and really I'm finding that a lot of people simply don't know what to do, how to do it, and I do think it starts with opening up a lot. I do think it starts with opening up quite a bit. And it really fucking sucks because it really goes against the status quo. It goes against the norm. It goes against, what people expect and what people expect from other people. And yeah, it's unfortunate to see just the whole thing at large. And so I think this week, since I really want to have a measure of progress, is to really strive towards inviting people over again. Just strive towards inviting people into my life more. I think it's really where that needs to start. And I do think it needs to start, both guys and girls alike, start inviting people over to my home and simply hanging out. I mean, even something as simple as beer and pizza. Just a very simple thing just to hang out and get to know people a little better. I think it's where it needs to start. So that's something that I'm very afraid of. I've had a really bad experiences in the past of inviting people over. The stress of being a host was really stressful for me. And my mom, she didn't really do all that much to help address my phobia. She just kind of played it off as like no big deal, and she kind of just pretty much took the bull by the horns and did it herself, and never really. I guess she showed me how to do it, but I didn't really feel like I was guided through. So, nevertheless, irrelevant of that, the fact of the matter is that I still have this phobia of being a host. I still have this fear of people just like being judged, basically, fear of being judged, which is so funny because I know that a vast majority of other people have that same feeling, which is why a lot of people don't initiate things in general. So with that said, I realized in hindsight, I kind of went about one social group pretty wrongly. I kind of sabotaged it a little too soon. All I really needed to do was invite everybody over to my home this weekend, and things would have been fine. The whole sexual conversation, first of all, it's not a good idea to have a sexual conversation via text. Second of all, right now it's very stigmatized in society, which is really unfortunate, but it is. And right now the society at large stigmatizes it quite a bit. So, I do think I need to figure out how to find my better place in all of that, because frankly, the process is one that requires a lot more exploration. I'm really glad that I'm doing these kind of recordings. I'm really glad that I'm figuring it out myself and untangling the process, but at the same time, I'm going to have to put more action of where the rubber meets the road, because that's really where the action actually happens, right? So that's pretty much all I got, and I will see you in the next one.